Over a year ago, we didn't think that marriage equality was going to be so central an issue to this presidential campaign as it had been in previous presidential elections. But as of late, it's become clearly one of the issues that is meant to divide the left from the right. So this is obviously an issue that's being used by both campaigns and by the media to tell us what the big difference is between Obama and Romney. I want to make clear that what we're talking about in this campaign issue is, and in the whole issue about marriage equality, is civil marriage. It's a very different story from talking about religious marriage, which is a very different and rightfully complex issue. So we're talking only about civil marriage, so just a marriage that is recognized by the state. When I say by the state, I mean the federal government, which of course it is not at present. From the Republican side, it seems that one of the most important things that is contributing to their campaign is to make a return to principles that are part of the Republican Party and have always been part of the Republican Party, because there's been the feeling over the past 12 years that too many Republicans have become moderate. And one of the ways to hit that home is to say we are not, those people are saying they are not in favor of marriage equality. The majority of the Republican Party, those who built the Republican platform, and obviously Mitt Romney and several of the other candidates who were in the race before, have made statements stating very categorically that they are absolutely against marriage equality. A few of them are in favor of an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that would define once and for all marriage as a union between a man and a woman. There is a current policy on the federal level referred to as DOMA. It's the Defense of Marriage Act, which does define marriage as only a union between one man and one woman. And the president has already declared that he will not continue to support this policy, and it is very much in the news these days. It will be interesting to see if something does happen on that issue before the elections in November. One thing that's moved the discussion about marriage equality forward is the fairly recent move that was made by the White House to remove the "don't ask, don't tell" policy from the military. It does leave an ambiguity for the military, because while people serving in the armed forces are now free to declare their homosexuality if they wish, if they are married in the states that allow marriage, that marriage is still not recognized by their employer, which is the federal government, because the federal government of the United States does not recognize any of these marriages. So when President Obama came out about 2 weeks ago in support of marriage equality, there was quite a lot of noise for a variety of reasons. He has been dragging his heels on this issue the entire time he's been in the White House. And when he finally came out in favor of marriage equality, his explanation was mostly based on his responsibility toward his own children. He could not any longer, in good conscience, explain to his children that he was not in favor of discrimination, but that he didn't think that gay people should be allowed to get married. That contradiction no longer sounded like something that he as a father was willing to give to his children. Americans have always been and are brought up to be respectful of the presidency and of the sitting president. So when the president makes that kind of a statement, it does carry an awfully lot of weight. Just a few days ago, the NAACP came out with a statement also endorsing marriage equality, and this was quite a surprise for many of us. The African-American community in the United States has been quite divided on this issue. The reasons are fairly obvious. I mean, there's an enormous religious component for many of African Americans, and that religious aspect causes additional concerns for people, which are understandable. We don't know what the vote was exactly, except that a majority of the NAACP voted in favor of defending marriage equality. But the fact that the national organization has made this consensus is quite monumental.